performance has improved, nutritional status of children has improved, dropout rates have decreased. So primarily it addresses classroom hunger and brings more children to school. So we see this as a very strategic intervention program. Government spends a lot of money on school buildings, classroom, uniform, textbook, teacher's salary. But if the child is hungry in the classroom, all of this millions of dollars spent by the government is not effective. And we spend a small amount of money feeding children, and that makes all of the other millions of dollars of investment the government makes more productive. So our mission is very simple. Our mission statement is no child in India should be deprived of education because of hunger. So we are a feeding program, but our feeding program is in the school. And now we are 25 years old. And about 5 years back, we started collecting information. What's happened to the children whom we have been feeding Islam? So we started, in our country, the schools don't maintain the records, and especially if the children go away after they pass on, there is no information about them. So we had to struggle to capture and go around. It so happened that there was one program in London School of Economics. And not me, there was another person from our organization, he's the CEO. He was making a presentation of Akshaya Patra and its impact and some of those things to a small group of students. And at the end of the program, one girl walked up to him and said, I was a beneficiary of Akshaya Patra in so-and-so place, and I had received the meal for 8 years. So that was a very startling example. And like this we have come across now. I can tell you one boy who's I met some years ago. They were first-time migrants from a village, and they had come to the city. His father had come to the city, and the father became a security guard in some private organization. And he had some 2 or 3 children. And when his son came to high school, so the father told him, you must go and take a job. You can't continue your studies. And at that time, Akshaya Patra was provided. So he went back to the father and said, there's a meal being provided in the school. Can I continue studies? And the father thought over and he said, okay, at least one meal you will get. You can be in the school. And so he continued his high school and he did well. And then we were also giving scholarship to students who were doing well. So he went to college and then he got an admission in an engineering college. And then when I met him, he had got a job in HCL Computers in Delhi. And so he was recalling that how this happened. So we have thousands and thousands of anecdotes of students who were about to drop out of school, but then stayed in school and did well. We have many chartered accountants, architects, and different professions from all over the country. And they fondly remember having me and how that helped them to do well in their studies. So this is the Akshaya Patra program. Now, another important factor was that we, from the very beginning, because we were receiving money from the government and also from corporation business houses, so we were very careful in maintaining our accounting practices, and we had very robust We had KPMG as our auditors from the very beginning, and they were doing it as a pro bono service. And much later, when our volume of work increased, they started sending us an invoice. It was affordable, so we accepted. And we started publishing our annual accounts and had very good practices. And we got the Gold Shield Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So, and second year, again we submitted our annual report and we got a second time award. And like this, 5 consecutive years, we got the Gold Shield Award. And we made it to the Hall of Fame of the ICAI. And we were the only NGO. After 5 years of consecutive awards and entering the Hall of Fame, we became disqualified to apply for the 6th year. We have to give opportunity for others. Fair enough. So for another 10 years, we were not allowed to apply. So these were all some of the important practices that we developed because we were getting government money. We wanted to be accountable to the government. And so these are some of the important practices that we have been continuing to practice. And today we are a very sought after NGO. And we go to a state only if the chief minister of the state invites us. Please don't get me wrong that we are arrogant or something. No, we want the main man to invite us. Then the rest of the thing becomes easy to work with the government. Otherwise, we will have a hard time to manage the different layers of the government offices. So this is what we have been doing. We have now touched 2.3 million children, and we have an aspect. Now another thing that we have started in the last 2 years, we call it a morning nutrition program. The midday meal is at 12 noon, most of the places. So when children come, we also prepare some breakfast item. It's different in different places. In Chennai, it is idli and sambar. In Gujarat, it is something else. In some places, it is a dry roasted cereals and something like that. So, these children come from poor families. They're not the first timers in their family. Somebody is going to a school. If you say the school begins at 9 o'clock, class begins at 9 o'clock, children come anytime between 9 and 9:45 a.m. They just trickle in. But now after we started this breakfast program, and we said that 10 minutes before the class begins, you have to come to avail of this. We have about 95% of the children coming before 9 a.m. So, and we are feeding about 1.2 million children breakfast in addition to the 2.3 million. So some of them are same children get breakfast and the midday meal. So today, this is what is happening. And after a certain point, we had to bring professionals. Initially, our volunteers were doing the cooking and all kinds of things. There were some occasions where in the very beginning days, the driver didn't show up. So our own devotees jumped in and drove the big van for the first time going to the school. So these kind of things were happening. But now we have about 1,000 vehicles all over the country. We have about 9,000 people working in Akshaya Patra. So we have an HR, we have a CFO, finance department, we have quality department, we have fundraising department, And there was one supporter of our Akshaya Patra program from Boston, and he used to visit us, and he would donate also some money. And then monks like me would raise money every year for running the program. This was about 4 years, 5 years after we had started the program. And then he came and said, in America, he's from here, Boston. So he said, in America, this is, you have to have a fundraising team, and you must spend some money so they will go and raise money. And you have to give them a good salary. And so we took the matter to our Akshaya Patra board, and the board members said, nothing doing, you can't spend money to raise money. You have to somehow, the monks are raising, and that's okay, that's good enough. So then from the temple we took a decision, from the temple we will spend money and build a team. And we built a small team of 3 people, headed by one MBA marketing person. And for about 1 year they didn't raise any money. And then there were people, see, we told you this will not work, you have to continue doing it. And then the second year they raised some money. And third year they raised a lot more. And today we have a professional fundraising team with probably a dozen MBAs. And they raise, you should help me convert these Indian rupees. They raise about 350 crores last year, and this year they are poised to touch 400 crores. How much would that be? Somebody can help me?
$40 million.
How much?
$40 million.
$40 million. So we're raising about $40 million a year. It's increasing year after year. So it worked. We have a very strong marketing fundraising team. They go about, write proposals, make presentations, make a pitch, and many levels of clearances and approvals, and then finally it goes to certain level, board level. Sometimes if the amount is big. So, and we also have an online fundraising using the net, and also raises about 40 crores a year online. And after introducing the professional fundraising team and having a professional, there is a certain amount of professionals for senior positions, and all of them are very good-hearted people. One partner from Deloitte, he came for 1/3 his salary and became the CFO of Akshaya Patra. And still our admin cost is single digit. So largely more than 90% of the donations we get go to field. So now it is 25 years old. Now we are talking about succession. We are grooming younger leaders, even among monks. Even I'm getting old. I shouldn't be doing this more. I should let younger people do. I'm over 62, so it's time to retire. So the younger monks are taking roles now. You see, the day-to-day operations are managed and overseen by monks. The rest of the things are professionals. So that's another unique feature of Akshaya Patra. It's a confluence of missionaries who come like me, and there is professionalism. So there is compassion, professionalism, government participation. And because of that, we are able to create a bigger social impact. Especially in our country, which is a very, very large population. And we tell people, please don't leave all of the developmental things only to the government. Even civic citizens and civic society organizations should participate. Because, as you must be knowing, India is doing very well, and I guess will continue to do well. But still, if the people of India have to derive the benefits of the growth story of our country, they have to be educated. If they are not educated, they don't have primary education, secondary education, or to some extent higher education, they will not be able to reap the benefits of the growth of our country. So education, nutrition, these are very important, and so we are addressing that. And this has been the story of Akshaya Patra. And one last point maybe. We were keeping account of the cumulative number of meals that we have been serving. And at one point we touched 1 billion meals. And we had a celebration around that. And the husband of Sudha Murthy, Narayan Murthy, came and served the first billionth meal. 5 years later, we served the second billionth meal, and we had the Rashtrapati, former president of India. At that time, he came. Pranab Mukherjee came and served the second billionth meal. And 2019, we served the third billionth meal, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi served the third billionth meal. And that was 2022, sorry, 2019 was 2022. And 2024, we served the fourth billionth meal, and we had a commemoration, we had a celebration. The United Nations headquarters in New York City, and the Indian mission hosted that. And now we are poised for the 5th billionth meal and the 25th anniversary. We're still thinking where to have the celebration. We're looking for appropriate opportunity. This is some of the things about Akshaya. Now I'll talk a little bit about how much time do I have? I must speak on
Maybe I'll, 5-7 minutes more perhaps.
Okay, great. I'll just take about 5 to 7 minutes. I'll talk a little bit about